obviously, I'm a person that opposed a city income tax in my community, and politically it wasn't a very pleasant thing to do, but that just goes to the core of my beliefs that we don't solve problems by raising taxes. We solve problems with good management, with fiscal responsibility, and with understanding the inner workings and making them work better, not putting the burden on the taxpayer.
Okay, Dave has responded to our questionnaire, which is posted on our website if you have not seen that. But talk about a three-way approach to your campaign. And if you could expand upon that for us, please.
Thanks for the question. Basically, as I sat and thought about what the approach would be for this campaign, we want to break things down into simple concepts, just like you've done with your Lake County Tea Party. These are the concepts, these are the plans. Mine, first of all, is stop raising taxes. That's not the solution. The next is that we live within our means, that we make sure that we're doing audits where need be, make sure that we're spending your tax dollars in the most effective way. And third, to use that county commissioner's office as a means to create economic development. I think that's sorely lacking in our county, where we have commissioners who could be doing a better job of communicating, of getting the message out to the community that serves us with jobs, and that serves our community, that serves us with all the things that we need. We could be doing a better job with that, and I'd like to see, well, I would propose to you that that's what I'll be focused on, those three things.
Okay, we want to open it up to questions from the audience, so if you have a question, you can raise your hand and we'll bring the microphone around.
Makes me very sad to see these teachers being laid off. It's very sad for the children and for schools to be closed and that. What do you intend to do there?
I came from a family that has multiple teachers in it. Brother and sister-in-law taught in the Mentor and the Willoughby East Lake schools. My sister-in-law, these are the same last name, currently teaches in the Cleveland schools, and talk about difficult job. And then some various retired teachers that I'm very close to. So teachers have been an important part of my foundation. Of course, the county commissioner doesn't control the school, that they are separate. But getting back to that third pillar of our campaign, the economic development, if we're bringing in, if we're opening our door to the businesses to create jobs, our tax dollars flow from that, and we're able to support the teachers, the schools, the buildings, and so on that we'll need to do. So I'll come from a position of working with schools. I also, by the way, think that community college like Lakeland would be an important part of what we're going to do to make sure that we're training people, to make sure that they can go into, the manufacturing sector, for example. There's a tremendous need, and that's one of the top industries in Lake County. The agricultural, all the nurseries and things like that, we do need to train people so they understand how to do the jobs that they get into. And a community college, of course, going from the grade school, and I do have two boys, by the way, in the public schools. I've got a freshman and a middle schooler right now. So I'm certainly, have also been in a parent-teacher organization, a nonprofit organization. Been pretty involved in schools, and do anything that I can to help, except control their budget, which we don't do as a county commissioner.
A few years ago, a councilman from Willoughby Hills, Ray Somnich, was running for county commissioner and lost. And I heard him at someone's home, and he had a very specific plan and very detailed things that he would shoot for. I'm wondering if you're familiar with what he was trying to do, and how specific are some of your objectives?
Whenever I'm in a room with Ray Somnich, I always point to him and I blame him for me being where I am today, because he and I go all the way back to high school, and he is the one that we were in a room, and back in what I said earlier, that I was a citizen, I wasn't involved government and politics, and it was a conversation that I was having. He sensed my frustration. He said, Dave, you should run for council then. And that's what got the ball rolling. So Ray's campaign I was involved with in 2008. He does have some great ideas, and I've met with him, and we've sat down, and we've certainly talked about those ideas. I don't think I'm going to come up with like a 10-point plan or a 20-point plan. I want to keep it simple for us in three pillars. That's what I've come up with to this point. But I'd be glad to hear from you. You know, if you want, I'll be here after, and let's see if there's some specific issues that we can talk about and hone in on. Again, I'm learning every day along this campaign. We've got about 5 months till voting starts. We've got about 6 months till November 6th, where things can turn around, and hopefully they will. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, my name is Tony Torrey from Painesville, Ohio, and I've got a strong belief that you commissioners are in charge, and we've got to maintain our police and fire protection. What are your plans to do this?
Thanks, Tony. I'm not a commissioner yet, but I think that the budget, the sheriff's budget, for example, and if you're in Painesville Township, is that what you said? Yeah, you have an operation there where we need to have the sheriffs involved, and we need to have them responding to you. We need to have the resources there. 60% of the budget, goes to law enforcement, and that's an important part of what we're doing. I don't know that Sheriff Dunlap and I have sat down. We've talked. In fact, I talked to him today, and he's expressed some of the frustrations about budget cuts, just as we've all heard about the budget cuts and things like that. Again, we need to make sure that, one, your tax dollars are being spent well, and that every dollar that we're contributing to our county government is going to be spent well. And we do that through performance audits. We do that through individual management practices. I don't know that I'll ever make government work like a business, but I know that we can bring some business practices into government to make it run better. It's an important, Tony, I saw you in the hall before, and I mentioned to you that my father was a police officer for 26 years in Cleveland. His father was a police officer that helped form the Cleveland FOP. You know that my heart is close to the police and to the protection that they serve to us, as well as all the police, fire, and the service workers that we have. I understand, from my experience on council, how important these people are to serving us and serving the community. These are things that I will work on diligently to make sure that we're doing the best that we can with our police, with our sheriff's department, with the court system. That's what the commissioners do. Thanks for the question.
What are your ideas about regionalism, and do you support it or are you against it? And give us your ideas.
The description that I had of regionalism, in Agenda 21, was absolutely, off the table for me. That's not something I would have subscribed to. That's the short answer on that. Where there are issues that do make sense to share resources without losing control. I think local government is the best government. I think you want to have the most control that you can over your governments. So I would absolutely be opposed to any sort of regional takeover of a 7-county region or something like that, and a brand new layer of government.
I have a two-part question. You mentioned earlier that one of the things that caused you to participate in government was frustration. Can you describe what those things are that frustrated you and motivated you to jump into government? The second part of the question, as a candidate and as a commissioner, how would you suggest that we can pray for you?
I didn't hear the last word you said, that we can...
As a candidate and as a commissioner, how would you suggest that we can pray for you?
Pray for me. Thank you. Okay. Prayers are welcome anytime. And in my in my experience with the frustration, it was being in the headlights